What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to cover the Criterion Collection slate for the month of July. Of course, that dropped yesterday right after I got done filming and editing the physical media report, so I couldn't cover it on the report yesterday. But as I do from time to time, I like to make these supplemental news videos just to cover what I believe to be some big, noteworthy news announcements. And there's definitely some cool stuff to talk about in this Criterion slate today. But look, before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel, guys. Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. So if you like that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. And then, comment down below, guys, of everything that we discuss. We got six We got six titles to discuss that Criterion's putting out in July. What are you the most excited about? What are you the most amped up for? And what gets your, not juices, I'm not going to say juices today. That's a little bit too raunchy for the Criterion Collection. I'm going to say what gets your hot tea flowing in the comments section below. Let me know that. So let's go ahead and get things started, guys. Now, I will say for the month of July, usually I feel like July is the month that Criterion just pumps out its heavy hitters. And I feel like that's in part due to promote the Barnes & Noble sale that we have going on in the month of July. It just feels like every July and every November, quite frankly, we get some big heavy hitting announcements from the Criterion Collection. And this month is no different. I don't think it's as heavy hitting as last year. Last year we got After Hours, and I can't quite remember the other ones, but I feel like there was a couple other big ones. And the year before we got some big ones as well. But this is still a pretty good month. And from what I was seeing online, I was looking on the blu-ray.com forums, there's a lot of people very excited for this slate. I can't share in that excitement because I've only honestly seen one film in the 6 films that were announced. But there is some cool stuff, and I am happy to see people excited for the Criterion announcements for sure. Some people are saying it's their best month ever, of all time. So it's very interesting just seeing people's reaction to this specific slate of the Criterion Collection for the month of July. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. We've got Risky Business coming to 4K, guys. Tom Cruise joins the Criterion Collection for the very first time. And I looked this up just to check because I'm like, is this the first title that Tom Cruise has ever been in the Criterion Collection? I'm sure somebody's going to point out some obscure film where he makes a cameo for 5 seconds that's in the Criterion Collection. But of the big movies that he starred in, of his starring roles, Risky Business is the very first of his movies to enter the Criterion Collection. So I do find that very interesting. So this, of course, is the 1983 coming-of-age film. It's one of Tom's very first big roles that he was in. This is directed by Paul Brickman. I think also written by Paul Brickman as well. I watched this movie for the first time, I think 5 or 6 years ago, and this is a very iconic movie for one very specific scene. When he's in the shirts, in his underwear, he's got the microphone and he's dancing to Bob Seger's old time rock and roll, and he comes sliding out right in front of those steps. It's iconic. I've known about that scene, I feel like, since I was 5 or 6 years old. But it took me forever to watch the actual film itself. But the movie itself, everybody knows this movie just for that scene. I would say that maybe this is probably the most recognizable movie of all time just for that scene. Everybody knows that part of the movie. And very smartly, Criterion uses that scene for the cover, which I think is very smart of them to do. And I think it's an amazing cover, maybe the best cover that they've ever done. I know that's a big, bold statement to make, but I love this cover right here for Risky Business because it is that iconic scene, and it is that scene that everybody's going to look at and be like, I know that movie, and I want to pick that up because that is cool. They put that on the cover. And I also like how they put the Criterion up in the corner, going up the steps. I think that's pretty cool as well. So I love the cover. I think it's a callback to the old school Criterion covers where they didn't use as much artwork as they did just scenes from the movie, and they would just plaster it on the cover. I'm thinking of Blood Simple. You had that iconic shot in that movie that they used for the cover of that. So I think it's really cool, guys. I love the cover on this. And getting into the actual film itself, I did enjoy this film quite a bit. It was not the kind of movie that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more along the lines of a John Hughes coming-of-age film. And it really has more of a dark edge to it. I would almost classify it as as a coming-of-age thriller, just with how dark it gets with Rebecca De Mornay's character coming in and all the troubles that she causes Tom Cruise's character in the film. So I did like the movie a lot. It was just a very different type of movie than I was expecting, for sure. And I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching this in 4K. And Rebecca De Mornay in 4K, just the idea of that just sells this release alone. So getting into the actual contents of this release, guys, because I know that's the stuff you want to hear about. Like I said, this is a 4K. It's a new 4K digital restoration of the director's cut and the original theatrical release, and I believe they're both on the same disc. So you're going to be getting the 4K of both cuts, which is definitely a plus. I know a lot of people always complain when you don't get one cut, or you get one cut, not the other cut. So they're giving you both cuts, in this case in 4K. This is supervised and approved by director Paul Brickman and producer John Avnet, with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtracks. So no Dolby Atmos upgrade. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little bit disappointed I don't get to hear Tom dancing around the house in Dolby Atmos. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Are you? Let me know in that comment section below. You have one 4K UHD disc of the film presented in Dolby Vision and HDR, and one Blu-ray with the film and the special features. So getting into the special features, you have an audio commentary for the original theatrical release featuring Brickman, Avnet, and actor Tom Cruise. Now, I've got the Blu-ray right here, the Warner Brothers Blu-ray from 2008. This is that commentary is on this Blu-ray, and I believe it's probably from back in the DVD, maybe Laserdisc days. So it's an older commentary. It's nothing new for sure. And you also get new interviews with Avnet and casting director Nancy Klopper. I hope that's how you pronounce that. That's how it looks, and that's how I'm pronouncing it. You also have a new conversation between editor Richard Chu and film historian Bobby Osteen. You have The Dream is Always the Same, the story of risky business, a program featuring interviews with Brickman, Avnet, cast members, and others. So looking at this, the story of risky business, I imagine this is some kind of documentary. I was trying to look on my Blu-ray and see if this was on here, and from what I can tell, that is something that is new, but it's not being promoted as being new on the actual Criterion release. So I'll have to dig into that one a little bit more. It could be an older documentary, but it was not on the Blu-ray release right here. So you also get screen tests with Cruz and actor Rebecca De Mornay, trailer, English subtitles, all this stuff. You get an essay by film curator and critic Dave Keir, and new cover illustration by Jeremy Insigno, which of course I just gushed about before we actually got into talking about this release. So very cool release, guys. And I do think it's really awesome that Tom is getting his first film in the Criterion Collection. And that just got me thinking about some other Tom Cruise movies I would like to see in the Criterion Collection. Hopefully this opens up the door for more Tom Cruise in the Criterion Collection if this sells well. I think the obvious one that they could do probably before the year is up is The Color of Money, because that's a Martin Scorsese film, and Martin Scorsese has been working with Criterion, it seems like, a lot. So I think that one's kind of a no-brainer, and probably one that we will get at some point, if not this year, possibly next year. Also, Magnolia, Paul Thomas Anderson film on 4K. I think this is one that's in need of a 4K upgrade for sure, a much needed upgrade. I think it would look great in 4K, and I think that would make a really cool Criterion 4K. I'm pretty sure it's owned by Warner Brothers. I could be wrong, but I think that they would do better to put a film like Magnolia in the Criterion Collection than they would putting that out from the studios. And also Eyes Wide Shut. People have been speculating about this one coming to 4K for quite some time, and it is its 25th anniversary this year. So I think it would be the perfect year to do Eyes Wide Shut on 4K. And I know that Warner Brothers did their entire line of Stanley Kubrick films, like A Clockwork Orange and Full Metal Jacket and The Shining. But I think that a movie like Eyes Wide Shut, again, like I said with Magnolia, I just think it would sell better from the Criterion Collection in 4K. Am I wrong in thinking that? Let me know in the comment section. But Magnolia, Eyes Wide Shut, Color of Money, and just for one off the beaten path choice, one that I don't think a lot of people would expect Criterion to do, but I think it kind of falls in the same camp as a movie like After Hours. It's kind of along the same lines, to me at least, is the movie Cocktail. A fun 80s romantic comedy I think would be perfect for the Criterion Collection. I would love to see Cocktail in the Criterion Collection. I think that would be awesome. Now, realistically, I could see Kino probably doing a release like that, but I would like to see Cocktail. Would you guys like to see Cocktail? I can't stop saying Cocktail for some reason. Let me know in the comments section below. So that's the Tom Cruise risky business news, guys. Let's get into some of these other Criterion titles, and I will admit right now, I don't know too much about these films, so I'm going to give you a very base knowledge of these, read off the special features, tell you what they are. But let's get into Farewell, My Concubine. So this is a Chinese film that came out in 1993. I'm pretty sure it got quite a bit of acclaim when it came out. I've heard of this movie. I've just never seen it, but this is getting a 4K release, 4K plus Blu-ray combo pack. Now, these are available on the Criterion website to pre-order. Now, when they become available on Amazon, I will link those in my community tab on YouTube, but the 4K plus the Blu-ray is available to pre-order for $39.96, and also the Blu-ray is available to pre-order for $31.96. Now, keep in mind, guys, these come out in the month of July, so your best bet with these is to wait until that July Criterion 50% off sale, because you'll be able to get all these 4Ks for $25 and you'll be able to get the Blu-rays for $20. So I wouldn't suggest pre-ordering these off the Criterion site. I would wait till that Barnes & Noble sale and take advantage of that price. So yeah, guys, I don't know too much about this film, so I can't get into it. From what I read, it's some kind of a story about two best friends and just them living life through 70 years of Chinese history in the 20th century, so the 1900s. So, and I think there's like a girl that comes between them somewhere in the mix. So that's pretty much my base knowledge of the film. You guys can tell me what it's all about and if I should get it in the comments section. And this is a new 4K digital restoration of the original director's cut with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack. You get one 4K UHD of the film and one Blu-ray of the film and special features. You get a new conversation between Chinese cultural studies scholar Michael Berry and producer Janet Yang. You get a documentary from 2003 on the making of the film. Very cool. I love seeing more making of documentaries included in these releases. You also get an interview from 1993 with the director Chin Kang, conducted by journalist Charlie Rose. Yeah, very cool looking release, guys. I know that there are some fans of this, so I know people are very excited for it. We also got a Brazilian film, Black God, White Devil, being released as well. Now, this is the only release in this slate that is not getting a 4K, so I think that's worth noting there. This is getting a Blu-ray. This comes out on July the 16th for $31.96 on the Criterion site, and it's getting a DVD release for $23.96. But again, this is going to be 50% off in the Criterion Barnes & Noble sale, so definitely wait on that. You got a new 4K digital restoration here, so this is a 4K scan with uncompressed monorail soundtrack, audio commentary by restoration producer Lino Merlis, new interview with film scholar Richard Pina, Glaber, the movie, Labyrinth of Brazil 2003, a documentary on the director of the film, so that's very cool. You got Cinema Nova from 2016, a documentary on the Brazilian film movement, so you got two documentaries in this release. That's actually kind of amazing. You got a short documentary on the origins of Cangako, a form of social banditry in northeastern Brazil. So you actually get three documentaries in this release. Really amazing. Now let's get into Perfect Days. This is a film directed and written by Wim Wenders. I'm not really familiar with Wim Wenders if I've seen a Wim Wenders film, but I'm pretty sure he is a German director, and this is, from what I read, a German and Japanese collaboration, and this is a new film from 2023. Now, this is also getting a 4K release, 4K plus Blu-ray combo pack, a Blu-ray release, and a DVD release, and this is coming out on July the 16th. We have a 4K digital master approved by director Wim Wenders with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack. You got one 4K UHD of the film presented in HDR and one Blu-ray with the film and special features. You get new interviews with Wenders. You get an interview with actor Kojo Yakoso. You get Somebody Comes Into the Light 2023, a short by Wenders featuring a new introduction by the director. You get an interview with producer Koji Yani, founder of the Tokyo Toilet Project. So yeah, I heard some people say that this movie is fantastic and it would look beautiful in 4K with HDR, so I will take everybody's word for it. But yeah, Perfect Days. Are you excited for that one? Let me know in the comment section. We also got Les Samurai. So this is a French film from the 60s, and I believe it is a part of the French New Wave movement. So this one actually actually sounded pretty cool. They framed it as a mix between 1940s American gangster cinema, 1960s French pop culture, and a liberal dose of Japanese lone warrior mythology. So, and people were freaking out about this one as well. A lot of people were super excited about Les Samurai. So this is a film by Jean-Pierre Melville, which I have heard that name before, but I don't know if I've seen anything from that director. So this one gets a 4K, it gets a Blu-ray, and it gets a DVD, and this comes out on July the 9th. And this is going to be a new 4K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack, one 4K UHD disc of the film presented in HDR with one Blu-ray of the film and special features. You also get interviews with the director Melville and some of the actors, and you also get interviews with the editor of the film and also the author of Jean-Pierre Melville, An American in Paris. You also get a short documentary exploring the friendship between the director and the actor and their iconic collaboration. You get a trailer and a essay as well. So this looks like a really cool release, and I know a lot of people are excited about this one. I just don't really know too much about it. But yeah, Les Samurai from 1967. Getting into the last Criterion release to talk about for the month of July. This is actually, of the ones besides Risky Business, the one that I'm most excited about to watch for the first time. Because it's a Western, because it's directed by Sam Peckinpah, who brought us The Wild Bunch. I don't know too much about this film at all, but you tell me Western, you tell me 4K, you tell me Sam Peckinpah. I am there every single day of the week. We've got Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. This is a movie starring James Coburn and Chris Christopherson playing Billy the Kid. So from what I've read, this is just another classic interpretation of the outlaw Billy the Kid, the very famous bandits from back in the day. It looks really awesome because this is a digipack and it opens up and it's got 4 discs inside. So we're going to get into the contents here in a second. And it's got some incredible artwork on it. And like I said, it's a Western. I'm super excited for it. This comes out on July the 2nd. So with this release, guys, you're going to be getting 2 versions of the film. You're going to be getting a new 50th anniversary edition of the movie, a new cut, I imagine, and you're also going to be getting the original theatrical release, both on 4K. You're also going to be getting an audio commentary for the 50th anniversary release featuring Sidor Spotswood and critic Michael Srago. You're going to have 2 4K UHD discs, so both of these cuts are going to be on each their own disc. 2 4K UHD discs of the film presented in Dolby Vision HDR with 2 Blu-rays with the films and the special features. You're going to have a new 2K digital master of the director Sam Peckinpah's final preview cuts with uncompressed monaural soundtrack. So I think that's going to be 3 cuts in this set so far. We got 3 cuts of this film. You're going to have Dylan and Durango, a new interview with author Clinton Halen about the film's soundtrack. You're going to have Passion and Poetry, Peckinpah's Last Western, a new documentary by Mike Siegel about the making of the film. So you actually get a new documentary in here, which I am all for, guys, and I absolutely love. Archival interview with actor James Coburn. And you're also going to get trailer and TV spots, English subtitles, and all this stuff, guys. An essay by author Steve Erickson. So this is a super stacked release, guys. And to be honest, like, this might be the one that I'm the most excited about, even though I haven't seen it, because I feel like this movie's going to deliver, and I just love Westerns, and I love Criterion Digipacks, and this has got a ton of great features, so I am very excited for Pat Garrison and Billy the Kid for sure. But are you excited for these releases, guys? The Criterion July slate? Let me know in the comments section below what you're the most excited about. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.